A good farm dog will not tell you when something is wrong. He will just bear it, quiet and faithful at your heel, while his skin torments him. So you learn to watch. You see him gnawing at his paw of an evening, scratching till the hair wears thin, a raw red patch behind his ear, that sour smell come up off his coat. And it wears on you, for he is a member of the family in his way, and you want to ease him. Now there is a great deal of dear stuff sold for this, the bottles and the pills and the drops, and some of it has its place. But the old farmers kept their dogs in fine health, good coats and sound skin for next to nothing, out of the kitchen and out of plain knowing. Today I want to show you those old ways, the simple care of a dog's skin and coat, and I will be honest with you all the way through about what these things can do, and what wants a real animal doctor instead. I am Elias Yoder, and I keep up this Lancaster County place the way my people always have, and there has always been a dog or two about the farm, working the stock, keeping me company, sleeping by the door. Now let me say plainly, right at the start, I am no veterinarian, no animal doctor, and I will not pretend to be. What I am giving you is the plain care a farmer gives his dog, the easing of a small trouble, and the feeding of a good coat. But a dog that stays itchy, that has raw open sores, that is truly suffering, that is a matter for the animal doctor, for it may be the mange, or an infection, or a deep allergy that no kitchen thing will fix. And the kind thing then is to get him real help. Keep that in your mind through all of this. I will say it again before we are done. We had a dog when I was a boy named Shep, a black and white fellow who worked the cows and slept across the back doorstep, and I loved that dog as only a boy can. One summer he took to scratching himself raw, miserable, his coat gone dull, and I fretted over him something terrible. And I remember my father did not run off and buy a thing. He looked the dog over careful, fed him better, the good fat off the meat, set him a cool oatmeal bath in the wash tub, and kept him brushed and clean, and within a few weeks old Shep had a coat that shone, and the scratching had near stopped. But I remember, too, the time another of our dogs had something my father could not mend, and he did not stubborn it out. He took the dog to the man who knew animals, for he said it was no kindness to let a creature suffer for the sake of your pride. Both of those things stuck with me, the plain home care that mends most troubles, and the wisdom to know when a thing is past your hands. That is the whole of what I am giving you today. Let me start with easing the dog that is itching right now, for that is the misery you want to stop first. The first is for when a dog has worked one spot raw, what folks call a hot spot, a red, angry, weeping patch where he has chewed and scratched the hair clean off. A little coconut oil, the plain kind, rubbed gentle onto that spot, soothes it and cools it and puts a clean barrier over it. And if he licks it off, which he will, it does him no harm at all, for it is only a wholesome oil. It is no miracle, and it will not cure a deep trouble, but for a small, raw, itchy patch, it is a gentle comfort, and it is sitting in your kitchen already. Trim the hair back from the spot first, if you can, so the air gets to it, and it is not held damp under the matted hair, for a hot spot wants to dry and breathe to heal, and the damp under the hair is half of what keeps it raw. And keep an eye on it, for if it spreads or weeps badly or will not settle in a few days, that is past a kitchen comfort and wants the animal doctor, for it may have gone to infection. The coconut oil is for the small early thing, not the bad one. Now if the whole dog is itching, his whole hide red and flaky and miserable, the old comfort for that is an oatmeal bath, and this one genuinely soothes, for oatmeal has long been used to calm itchy skin, on people and animals both. You take plain oats, the plain breakfast kind with nothing added, no sugar nor flavoring, and you grind a cup or two of them fine as dust in a grinder or a mill. Then you draw the dog a bath, and here is the part that matters most. The water must be cool or barely lukewarm, never warm and never hot. Hot water on an itchy dog makes the itch far worse, draws the blood up and inflames the skin, so you keep it cool. Stir your ground oats into the cool water till it goes milky. Set the dog in, and pour that milky water all over him, and let him stand and soak in it a good 10 minutes if he will abide it. The oatmeal settles a calm film over his skin, and draws the heat and the itch right out of it. Then pat him dry with a towel, do not rub him hard, and you will likely have a calmer, easier dog who can rest at last. It is a true old comfort, and it cost you a handful of oats. You can give him such a bath every few days while he is in a bad way. There is no harm in it, and many a dog comes to stand patient in it once he learns it eases him. Just keep that water cool every time, and brush him out gentle once he is dry. There is one more. For the dog whose feet or ears have that sour, yeasty, corn chip kind of smell and itch, in the damp, warm places where that trouble settles, a weak wash of apple cider vinegar, cut by half with warm water and dabbed on with a cloth, can help freshen those spots, for the mild sourness is not to that yeasty trouble's liking. But hear me close on this one, for there is a real warning with it. You never put vinegar, even watered down, on skin the dog has chewed raw, or open, or bleeding, for it is an acid, and it will sting that raw skin terribly, and be a cruelty to him. Only ever on skin that is whole, just smelly and itchy, never on a wound. And if those ears are truly bad, deep red and painful and foul, that is an ear infection and a matter for the animal doctor, not a vinegar dab. So a gentle freshening for a mild case, and the doctor for a real one. And dry those feet and ears well after, for that sour, yeasty trouble loves the damp above all, between the toes and down in the ear, where the wet sits and will not dry. A dog that has been out in the wet, or swimming in the pond of a summer, wants his feet and his ears dried, for keeping those folds dry does more to keep that trouble away than any wash does to cure it once it is set in. And for the dog that chews and licks more from restlessness and boredom than any true itch, the old answer is the simplest of all. Give him something good to gnaw. A big raw carrot, and a frozen one is even better on a hot day, gives him a fine, cool thing to chew that keeps him busy and content, and does him good besides, with no harm in it. A bored dog finds his own mischief, often his own paws, so an honest thing to chew is half the cure for that kind of worrying. Now let me turn from easing the skin to the real foundation of a good coat, which is what the dog eats, for this is where you truly build a healthy hide that itches less to begin with. A dog fed poor and dry grows a poor, dry coat, dull and flaky and prone to trouble. A dog fed with some good fat and good nourishment in him grows a thick, glossy coat and a supple skin, and that is your best and longest answer to the itching, far more than any bath. The old farm dog ate well of the scraps and the trimmings, the meat and the fat off the table, and he was the better for it. The thing that builds a coat best is good fat, the right kind of oils, and there are a few plain ways to get them into him. A bit of fish is one of the finest, so a little tin of plain sardines mixed into his food a couple of times a week is a fine, rich dose of the good oils that build a glossy coat and a healthy skin. But mind, the plain ones, packed in water with no salt added and no sauce, just the plain fish, for the salted and sauced kind are not good for him. If he turns up his nose at fish, a plain cooked egg does good service too. a fine, wholesome thing for a dog's coat. And a splash of good homemade bone broth over his food is one of the best things going. The plain broth of simmered chicken or beef bones, rich with the good stuff that builds healthy skin and joints both. Now you do not pile all of these into him at once, mind, nor every day, for a dog's stomach wants easing into rich new things, or it will trouble him at the other end, and you will be sorry you overdid it. You go gentle and slow, a little fish a couple of times in the week, an egg another day, a splash of broth another, working it in bit by bit and watching how he does. And you take a little of his dry food out to make room, so you are not just piling more on top and fattening him, for a dog ought not be fat. A fat dog is an unwell dog in time. Good food in fair measure. Done that way, steady over weeks, you will see his coat come in glossy and his skin settle, and that good condition is the truest shield against the itch there is. And let me tell you the why of the fish, plain, because it is worth understanding. The oils in an oily little fish like the sardine are the very same kind of good oil that a dog's skin uses to keep itself supple and to hold the water in so the hide does not go dry and flake and itch. A dog short on that oil has a dull, dry, brittle coat, no matter how much you bathe him from the outside. You cannot wash a good coat onto a dog. You feed it into him from the inside, and the oil is the heart of it. That is why the old farm dog, fed the fat and the trimmings off the table, so often had a finer coat than the town dog, fed nothing but the dry biscuit, though the town dog wanted for nothing else. The shine of a dog comes up out of what is in his bowl. Give it a month of the good oil worked in slow, and you will run your hand down his back one day and feel the difference under your palm before you have even thought to look for it. But here I must give you a hard warning, one of two real warnings in all of this, and they matter more than anything else I will say, so heed them well. When you make that bone broth, you make it yourself, plain, just bones and water simmered down, nothing else. You never use the broth sold in the store for people, and you never season it, because it is near always cooked with onion and garlic. And onion and garlic are poison to a dog, truly toxic, and they can do him real harm. So no onion, no garlic, ever. Not in his broth, nor his food, nor his scraps. Plain bones and water, that is the dog's broth, and keep the seasoned humankind well away from him. And the second hard warning, and this one can kill a dog outright, so burn it into your memory. There is a sweetener called xylitol, sometimes written on a label as birch sugar, that is put into many sugar-free things, some peanut butters, some sugar-free yogurts, and sweets and gums. It is a deadly poison to a dog, even a tiny amount. It can destroy his liver and kill him fast. So if ever you give a dog a bit of peanut butter or yogurt or any such thing, you read that label first, every single time, and you make dead sure there is no xylitol nor birch sugar in it. This one is not about itching at all, but it is the most important thing a dog owner can know, and too few do, so I will not let it pass without telling you. Before I come to the fleas and the ticks, let me say a plain word for the brush and the clean keeping, for it is half of a healthy coat, and folks forget it. A dog wants brushing, regular, and more so the long-haired kinds. The brushing pulls the dead hair and the dirt out, spreads the natural oils of his skin all down the coat to keep it glossy, and lets the skin breathe. And a well-brushed dog has far less trouble with mats and damp and the itch than a neglected one. And it is good for him in another way too, for a dog loves the attention of it, and the few minutes you spend brushing him is a kindness he feels. And keep his bed clean, for a dog's bedding gathers dirt and old hair and is where the fleas would lay their eggs if they got a start. So you shake it out and wash it now and again, and you deny the fleas the foothold. A clean-kept, well-brushed dog on good food is most of the way to a healthy coat before you do anything else at all. Now I want to speak honest about the fleas and the ticks, because there is a great deal of foolishness told about them, and some of it is dangerous. You will hear it said that you can feed a dog this or that out of the kitchen, the vinegar, the brewer's yeast, the garlic even, and make his blood taste so foul that the fleas and ticks will not bite him, make him near invisible to them. I will tell you plainly that is not true, and I will not tell you it is, however much I would like it to be. There is no spoonful of anything you put in a bowl that shields a dog from ticks. And the garlic some folks push for it is, as I just told you, itself a poison to him, so that advice does double harm. And the ticks especially are no small matter, for a tick can carry real disease, the Lyme and others, sickness that can lay a dog low for life or worse, and that can pass to people too. So this is the one place I will be most firm with you. Do not trust your dog's protection from ticks to any kitchen folk remedy. For the fleas and the ticks both, you use the real, proven protection your animal doctor gives you. And in the tick country, you use it faithfully, and you run your hands over your dog and check him for ticks after he has been in the brush, and pull any you find off prompt and proper. The good plain food and the clean bedding and the brushing all help keep the fleas from settling, and a clean, well-kept dog is a less likely home for them. That much is true and worth doing. A fine-tooth comb run through his coat will show you the fleas if he has them, and catch them too, combed out into a dish of soapy water, which is an old, honest way to knock their numbers down on the dog himself. And if the fleas have truly got going, mind they are as much in the house and the bedding as on the dog, so it is the washing of the bedding in hot water and the cleaning of the floors and his sleeping place that breaks them, not the dog alone. But none of that, I say again, is your shield against the ticks and their disease. That wants the real medicine, and I would be doing you and your dog a wrong to tell you otherwise. So let me say the plain word about why so much foolishness gets told about all this, and it is not some wicked scheme, only the plain way of things. There is a powerful lot of money in a worried dog owner, in the dear bottles and the special shampoos and the bag after bag of feed. And there is money too, it turns out, in the other direction, in the videos and the sellers promising you a miracle cure out of your pantry for the price of their little powders. Both ends are selling you something, and in between sits the plain truth, which nobody much profits by, that a dog wants good, plain food and clean keeping and a little gentle comfort when he itches, and real medicine from a real doctor when he is truly sick, and proven protection where the ticks are bad. The plain truth pays nobody, so it gets shouted down by the sellers on both sides, and the old simple knowing gets lost between the dear pills and the false miracles. So let me gather it plain for you, to ease an itchy dog, a little coconut oil on a raw spot, a cool oatmeal bath for the whole miserable hide, a weak vinegar dab on skin that smells yeasty but is never raw or open, and a good carrot for the one that chews from boredom. To build the healthy coat that itches less to begin with, feed him well with good fat in him, a little plain water-packed sardine, a plain egg, a splash of your own plain unseasoned bone broth, never onion or garlic, ever. Never anything with xylitol or birch sugar, ever, for that one kills. And never trust a kitchen remedy to guard him from fleas and ticks, but use the real, proven protection especially against the ticks and the disease they carry. And above all, the dog that stays truly itchy and miserable with raw sores or a deep trouble, you take him to the animal doctor, for that is the kindest thing of all, and no folk remedy stands in its place. I would like to hear about your own dog. Tell me down in the comments what your dog struggles with: the itchy skin, the fleas, the dry, dull coat, and what old ways you have used to keep your animals well, for the farm folk among you know things worth sharing. And tell me too what part of the country you are in, and whether the ticks are bad where you live, for that is good for us all to know. I read what you write. Next time, I have it in mind to show you the old ways with the barn cats, those half-wild working cats that earn their keep, how the old farmers kept a good mouser or two about the place, and kept the mice and the rats down out of the grain and the feed the natural way, with never a poison about, the way it was always done before. A good dog asks little of us, only plain food, a dry place to sleep, a kind hand, and care when he ails. And he gives back more loyalty than most folks ever earn. The old farmers knew how to keep an animal well by plain sense, and plain food, and the knowing of when a thing was past their hands, and they kept good dogs at their side for all their long lives that way. The people who built this country with their hands knew that, and we are only now just starting to remember it.